You may agree or not about our list, but here are the top 10 worst TV shows of the century so far. Inhumans, 2017. There are some Marvel fans who consider Iron Fist to be the most lackluster live-action show the company offered this century. The most heinous adaptation they provided, however, was certainly Inhumans. The story revolved around a group of extremely unlikable superpowered royals who ruled over a harsh lunar class system. The so-called heroes wander around Hawaii after the big bad Maximus launches a coup against them. The fish-out-of-water premise results in a slew of cheesy jokes and tedious side stories. And when we do get action moments, they're frequently rushed or marred by poor special effects. These and other issues combine to make Inhumans one of the worst superhero shows of all time. That 80s Show, 2002. During the span of the popular That 70s Show, Fox executives wanted to explore if they could repeat the success by following a new ensemble of characters in a different decade. Kyler Lee and Glenn Howerton, both future television stars, were cast in the comedy's lead roles. Fortunately, this mediocre sitcom did not completely derail their careers. That 80s show lacked the charisma of its more popular forerunner. When the show first aired, the ensemble felt like doppelgangers of the original characters, and the atmosphere wasn't all that old. Despite its best efforts, That 80s Show never gave audiences a convincing reason to leave the 1970s. Insatiable, 2018 to 2019. Patti Bedell had a violent encounter with a homeless person after years of being mocked for her weight. She suffers a jaw injury, forcing her to follow a liquid diet that completely changes her body. Patti eventually resolves to utilize her good looks and intelligence to exact vengeance on those who have wronged her. People attacked the show for sending mixed messages about body image and dressing Debbie Ryan in a fat suit because of this problematic premise. A mother unjustly accuses someone of horrible crimes is one of the show's numerous cringe-worthy subplots. While some viewers enjoyed the controversial plotlines and humor, more than 200,000 individuals requested that Netflix terminate the show. The latter faction received their desired cancellation. Rob, 2012. Rob Schneider's Real Rob isn't a perfect sitcom, to be sure. Prior to that Netflix show, he starred in an objectively worse comedy. Rob was about a man who suffered from obsessive-compulsive disorder and married a woman of Mexican origin before her family found out. He must then strive to persuade them while avoiding embarrassing situations. Rob's OCD and outdated cliches about Mexican culture are frequently used as punchlines throughout the show. It's also difficult to feel sorry for the title character, who has few redeemable traits. Rob is, in the end, an insipid and sloppy sitcom featuring Schneider that is best forgotten. South Beach, 2006. It's difficult to define what this flop drama was about. Vincent and Matt abandon their homes in Brooklyn and travel to Miami at the start of the premiere. It just so happens that Ariel, Matt's ex-girlfriend, is pursuing a modeling career there. Despite the fact that this appears to be a romance drama, the show swiftly adds criminals and guns to the mix. While it's great to see Giancarlo Esposito in a criminal boss role, his character and the rest of the darker subplots feel like they belong on a separate show. It doesn't help that Matt and Vincent aren't particularly distinct individuals. Thankfully, the majority of the cast and the entire audience had moved on from South Beach's identity crisis and unimpressive characters. Knight Rider, 2008 to 2009. The most absurd part of the Knight Rider pilot should have been watching a talking kit change shape like a transformer. This relaunch, on the other hand, kept surprising us with one crazy turn after another. The show swiftly devolves into a mix of campy action and fan service when the premiere puts us into the middle of an undercover mission with no explanation. The unconvincing fake death of main character Mike in the first episode also sets up an amnesia narrative. All of these cliched plot twists ensured that the show would stall straight away. Unfortunately, every attempt to improve Knight Rider before it crashed and burned failed. Cavemen, 2007. Congratulations if you think giving a mascot from a Geico commercial their own show is a poor idea. You have more forethought than whoever decided to give this series a green light. The show was billed as a one-of-a-kind and entertaining look at what it's like to live in modern times for three cavemen. The primary trio, on the other hand, were unfunny replicas of characters that could be found in any other adult sitcom. Many viewers and critics felt that the show was making light of actual racial prejudice by using situations with cavemen. The show was such a flop that the first season was never seen by American audiences. To add insult to injury, one of Geico's advertisements made fun of the show. Fred, the show, 2012. We thought the unpleasant and high-pitched internet persona known as Fred starring in 2 television movies was bad enough. In 2012, he was also given his own television series, which he did not enjoy. Fred's escapades were more irritating than they had ever been previously in these 11-minute chunks. Every episode included the titular character whining, attempting to address his problem in a ludicrous manner, and then whining some more before the story eventually concluded. But there wasn't anyone in the unappealing supporting cast that we loved either. During the show's first and only season, viewership plummeted significantly. Even Lucas Cruikshank admitted that Fred's show had problems once he portrayed the character. Work It, 2012. When 2 guys are having problems finding work, they decide to dress up as women and apply for jobs at a company where the majority of the employees are female. We can't decide if it's more shocking that their plan worked or that anyone on Earth thought this show was worth putting on TV. The majority of Work It's duration is spent promoting sexist gender stereotypes and cringe-worthy gags. It doesn't help that the protagonists are despised and insensitive guys who lie to their families and co-workers on a regular basis. While we're still amazed ABC allowed Work It air at all, the network did at least stop the show's run in the United States 2 weeks after its premiere. Viva Laughlin, 2007. One of the worst television shows in recent memory is a show that attempted to blend a mysterious death, casino drama, and random musical numbers. Viva Laughlin was supposed to be a parody of the well-received British series Blackpool. The American adaptation, on the other hand, struggled to reconcile its emotional passages with its ridiculous musical interludes. Audiences were liable to burst out laughing whenever an actor tried to deliver a serious line. Even the presence of Hugh Jackman couldn't save this doomed production. In the United States, it was terminated after 2 episodes, but Australia gave up after the first. The absurd premise, sloppy writing, and comically awful execution of Viva Laughlin made it a classic 21st century television disaster. Which of these movies do you still find entertaining? Please tell us in the comments section below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more updates about your favorite movies.